I married Daniel, and I thought I had married into the billionaire dream every girl secretly fantasizes about. He was young, impossibly handsome, brilliant, and the kind of man whose name alone could change the atmosphere of a room, a man whose face graced magazine covers, and whose empire stretched across continents, a man who could buy an island before breakfast, and still close a multimillion-dollar deal by lunch, and when he chose me, a woman with no famous last name, no fortune, and no powerful family, I felt like the universe had handed me a fairy tale. Our wedding itself was the kind of spectacle that becomes legend. An entire private island reserved just for us. Roses shipped in from 5 different countries, chefs from Paris flown in to design the menu, an Italian orchestra playing under a canopy of stars, fireworks painting the night sky as we kissed, and me in a gown so expensive it could have bought a house in my old neighborhood, while the world looked at me with envy and whispered that I was the luckiest woman alive. But what they didn't see were the cracks that had already begun to form, the little shadows behind the gold. Because even on our honeymoon I would wake up in the middle of the night to find Daniel gone from our bed, his face glowing in the blue light of his phone, as he chuckled quietly at messages he couldn't stop reading. And when I finally crept close enough to see, the name on his screen burned itself into my mind like a scar. Sophie. The next morning, when I asked him, he laughed, kissed my forehead, and said, "Don't be silly, she's just an old college friend." And though I wanted to believe him, though I forced myself to believe him, the seed of doubt had been planted in my heart, and once doubt enters your heart, it grows like poison, because soon I noticed everything. The lipstick stains on his collars in colors I never wore, the unfamiliar perfume clinging to his $1,000 suits, the late-night business dinners that stretched until dawn, the last-minute flights that never matched the calendar, the new watches and gifts explained away as from partners, but always with receipts showing he had purchased 2, though I only ever received 1, and still I smiled for the cameras, posed for the glossy magazines, held his arm at galas and charity balls, while inside I was hollow, but the facade shattered completely the night he rushed out for another urgent meeting and forgot to close his laptop because my shaking hands opened it and uncovered a hidden folder filled with Sophie's emails, not just friendly messages, but love letters dripping with promises, photographs of them in Paris, Rome, New York, kissing in hotel rooms, laughing in restaurants, celebrating anniversaries in secret, and the words he had written to her cut through me like glass. "You're my real love. She's just for appearances." And in that moment I felt my world collapse, realizing I wasn't a wife, but a trophy, a mask, a polished ornament for his empire, while his loyalty, his affection, his passion belonged to someone else. And I sat there staring at the screen until tears blurred my vision, realizing the fairy tale was a prison, and instead of screaming or breaking down, something inside me went cold, hard, sharp, and I decided that if he thought I was blind, then I would let him think it, while I prepared my revenge. For weeks I played my role better than ever, smiling brighter at galas, laughing louder at his jokes, kissing him longer for the cameras, all while gathering every piece of evidence I could, screenshots of his late-night texts, recordings of his whispers to her, copies of receipts, even photographs of his packed suitcases filled with gifts that were never for me, until the night of his company's 10-year anniversary gala arrived, the grandest event of the year, with chandeliers glittering like frozen stars above hundreds of guests in gowns and tuxedos, investors sipping champagne, journalists scribbling notes, celebrities flashing diamonds, and Daniel standing on stage in his custom Italian suit, delivering a speech about loyalty, trust, and values, his voice booming across the hall while cameras flashed like lightning, and I almost laughed at the irony of it, the man preaching loyalty who couldn't even keep his vows for a single year. And when it was my turn to speak, I walked up to the microphone, my smile steady though my heart hammered, and I said, "Marriage is built on trust, and trust, once broken, reveals the truth." Before connecting my phone to the giant screen, and in an instant Sophie's messages, their photos, their hotel bookings, their love notes, all of it appeared larger than life, the whispers of the crowd swelling into a storm, gasps cutting through the music, investors staring at him in horror, cameras capturing every second, and Daniel's face turning white as he lunged toward me whispering, "Stop this!" But it was too late. The mask was shattered, his empire's golden image fractured in front of everyone who mattered, and I smiled, handed him the microphone, and walked off stage, out of the ballroom, and out of his life forever, not once looking back at the mansion, the diamonds, the luxury cars, or the jets, because in that moment I realized freedom was worth more than every fortune he owned. People later said I was insane to walk away from billions, but what they didn't understand is that money can buy you silk, sheets, but not peaceful sleep. It can buy you mansions, but not loyalty. It can buy you diamonds, but not love. And weeks later Sophie herself reached out to me, broken, confessing he had lied to her too, promising her marriage, telling her I was just a contract wife, and for the first time I didn't hate her, because we were both victims of the same arrogant man, both puppets in the same cruel play, and now I live in a small apartment, waking to the smell of my own coffee, shopping for my own groceries, walking freely through life without cameras or lies, and every night when I sleep peacefully, without the glow of a phone betraying me in the darkness, I know I made the right choice, because no matter how shiny the cage, a cage is still a cage, and I would rather live free in a small quiet room than be trapped forever in a golden prison built on lies, because in the end I didn't just leave a billionaire. I escaped a man who thought money made him untouchable, and I proved that no empire, no fortune, no amount of gold can ever protect a liar from the truth.